A Tribute to Joseph Smith, Jr. by Travis Wayne Goodsell. On this day, 174 years ago, Joseph Smith, Jr., the founder of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, was assassinated. Most accuse Joseph of horrible things, but if you know my work, you learn that it was Brigham Young who set him up to take the blame, so that Brigham could justify his atrocities. You also know that I do not sustain the Book of Mormon as a translation from an ancient Egyptian document, nor that it is an accurate history of the ancient Native American Indians. Instead, I've been promoting that it was written by Joseph and Company specifically to warn us in 2018 in the United States about the intended plans back in Joseph's day by the Illuminati to destroy us. From Mormon chapter 8, verse 41. Behold, the sword of vengeance hangeth over you, and the time soon cometh that he avengeth the blood of the saints upon you, for he will not suffer their cries any longer. The religion Joseph founded was intended as the vehicle to recruit an army to go up against the Illuminati this year, but Brigham had Joseph murdered and put a stop to Joseph's preventative plans to save the United States. But Joseph's religion presented a brand new doctrine in how to understand faith. From James chapter 2, verse 17. Even so, faith, if it hath not works, is dead, being alone. Most, if not all, Christians have understood this passage by saying, talk the talk and walk the walk. But this is not what James was referring to. In Hebrews chapter 11, Paul defines faith, but then goes on to describe examples of how it works from the book of Genesis. You honestly don't think that when Noah was inspired to build a boat, he merely went around talking the talk to warn people. The story itself tells us Noah completed the construction of the ark. It was the ark, not Noah's faith, that saved him. So, what James is telling us is that without completing our inspiration, we'll never accomplish anything, and when it comes to our salvation, we cannot just claim faith alone. We cannot do works of service and charity, but we must become Christ-like. Faith is talking the talk. Action works are walking the walk. Completed works are being the being. Today's Mormons have a lot of outward performances, just like the Law of Moses. The Book of Mormon clearly describes how the Law of Moses does not save anyone even if it were strictly observed, because it is not the process of faith, but temporal commandments. This is the case with the Mormon's Word of Wisdom, the For Strength of the Youth booklet, and garment wearing, and any and all commandments given by the prophets, whether it be setting the conditions for saying prayers, attending the temple, going to church, wearing of the magic underwear, paying tithing, etc. Not a single one of those commandments will exalt a single Mormon, because none of them are utilizing the process of faith. Not once did Joseph Smith give an actual commandment. His book of commandments was in reality the revelation on how to organize the church, except for one commandment, to have only one husband and one wife. Yes, you heard me correctly. Joseph never taught nor practiced polygamy. It was Brigham who set up Joseph to take the blame for it. Thus, you can clearly see that the successive LDS church leaders since Brigham have been preaching and commanding a false hope for self-exaltation by setting up idols for Mormons to adhere to and fear if they violate the command for adherence. This was not the doctrine of Joseph Smith and Company. I referred to and Company because linguistic research has determined that Alma 32, where the Book of Mormon discusses faith after the above-mentioned process, is linguistically tied to Oliver Cowdery, a cousin to Joseph through his mother, Lucy Mack. So on this day, we in the United States are witnesses to the implemented plans of the Illuminati from back in Joseph's day, and that Joseph was legitimately warning us today about the coming danger. And yet, the Mormon Church has failed to produce an army to confront Trump and company, though protesters are now actively interfering with the transported dissemination of the immigrant children throughout the United States. But this will just lead to Trump's plans to implement martial law, to suppress our protests and label us as the domestic threats as we attempt to save the children. That's how tyranny works, and that is our reality. Trump isn't even a legitimate president, for the Russians and others all directly attacked our nation's election by suppressing votes. And we have a Justice Department who will not step up, do their job, and save our nation by removing Trump immediately from office, along with all conspirators, they being among them.